What's up, guys? Welcome to the channel. If you are a new real estate agent, or if you're just considering getting your license, you're kind of curious what it may take to succeed in this business, today I'm going to guide you step by step on how to set yourself up for success, and just kind of some of the things I wish I knew when I first started, and how you can close more deals early on in your career. And because a lot of the advice you get will be, yeah, it just takes time. It takes a few years. It takes this and that and the other. And I'm going to explain to you how that may not be the case, and it doesn't have to be. First thing I want to get into mindset a little bit. So mindset and preparation, I guess. You have to understand and embrace a abundance mindset. You have to understand that there is more than enough business to go around. And if you are doing the things you should be doing, which we'll get into here in a second, then you will get your unfair share. Your skills will develop. You're gonna generate more leads and have more opportunities than those that aren't doing the things that they're supposed to be doing. You have to understand that you kind of have to have this internal undying belief that you can and will achieve what your goals are, because a dream is just a dream until you write it down. Then it becomes a goal, and then you create the action plan. But you have to have the belief first, which leads me to my next thing. Set clear goals. So don't just like get your license and just like, whatever happens happens. Have a goal in mind. That may be closing your first year. That's great. That's what I did my first full year in the business. I did 10 transactions, and that was actually a little short from my goal, but nonetheless, you set clear goals, and then you put together a clear plan to do it. And the third part of kind of mindset and preparation is to create a daily routine. So most of us, if we're hardworking, ambitious, competitive even, we tend to be really great W-2 workers. We're the best at every W-2 job we've ever had. And then we become our own boss. We become 1099, and all of a sudden we wake up late. We show up late, if we show up at all. We just take days off here and there, willy-nilly. Create a daily routine, a Monday to Friday. This is when I work, and stick to it. And pretend like somebody you really don't want to disappoint is standing there with you watching you work. Because we will work as human beings, like not just realtors, but as human beings, we tend to work a hell of a lot harder for others than we will for ourselves. I think that's a sad reality, but it is a reality nonetheless. I want to talk about building a brand. So this kind of gets thrown around a lot, and the way it's typically used, I'm not a fan of, because it's kind of used by people that are trying to sell you marketing packages and options, like even coaching programs that are like, yeah, just build a brand, don't prospect, don't lead generate, just build a brand and money just falls out of the sky. That's not the case, but the way I'm using it here is to define a niche. So it could be first-time home buyers. It could even be a couple niches. It could be probate leads, if you want to go after something like that, divorce listings. I've done probate. I've done investors as a niche. I've begun doing downsizers as a niche demographic that I'm currently prospecting for. So define your niche and build your brand around that. Like, you are the brand, but if you are a veteran, if you're a retired military veteran, and you want to build your brand around doing serving the veteran community, then that becomes your brand. Like, you are the brand and the brand is you. That's just as an example. So part of that also, create a professional online presence. Now, to be honest, like, I'm not necessarily even talking about a website. I'm more so talking about a building a library of bingeable content, video content on the internet. This is something I've been very bad at in the past, and I'm trying to get better with, because at the end of the day, that is very, very scalable, but it also gets your face in front of the camera. Like if somebody watches video content of yours and then they call you, that's a come list to me call. That is not a, hey, we want to interview you. That's, we watch this shitload of your content and we want you to sell our house. That's 9 times out of 10, that's what that is. Or we want you to represent us as buyers, or whatever the case may be. The other thing is a Google My Business page. Big fan of that. Like every time you close a transaction, ask for a review. Ask for a 5-star review on your Google page, because people that are searching, hey, real estate, anything in this area, you pop up and you have 1,000 5-star reviews, or in preparation for an appointment, right? The people who are interviewing you to take a listing are going to Google you. So have that come up, professional headshot, 1,000 5-star reviews. All of a sudden, you are the front runner before you ever even walk through the door. So that's part of building your brand as well. The last, leveraging social media. So this goes back to what I was talking about, the library of video content. I would take it a little bit further. I'm actually a fan personally of identifying one channel, like whatever your favorite channel is and whatever makes the most sense for what kind of content you want to produce. I'm a big fan of like Instagram for agents. But identify that channel, go all in on that, build that massively. I know agents that are doing, several $100,000, like TikTok videos, like just steadily posting on TikTok. You can do that too. So definitely leverage social media and position yourself as a guide to help your ideal client avatar, which may be a motivated seller, first-time home buyer, a military veteran, an expired listing even. Like make content around that, and you are guiding people to solve their problems and avoid failing or failing again in some cases in the way of an expired listing. Like they've already failed to sell it once, right? So you're trying to position yourself as the guide, not the hero. Most agents are doing it wrong. All right, so this next part, I'm going to spend a little time on this, because I think this is the most important thing, and it's also like the thing that is most not done, neglected is the best word for it, I guess. And that's mastering prospecting and lead generation. So if you're anything like me and most agents, like when you get into business, you do not have the money to pay for leads, pay for all this big marketing budget, anything like that. But you do have your time. So I am a huge, huge fan and believer in outbound phone calls, this cold outreach as a lead generation mechanism, and then an appointment setting mechanism through follow-up or through the first call if your skills are really good. If you're not a big fan of that, if you want to get outside and do some knocking, big fan of that as well. Like whatever your lead generation method is, I think as a new realtor, it's probably beneficial for most of us for it to not cost us a shitload of money. Like we don't have the money when we start out, but we have all the time in the world. I don't care. Like if you start out and I see this all the time. If you are doing like a few deals a year, like even for me, like I did 10 last year. For me to look someone dead in the face and say, I don't have time to do something as important and vital as lead generation would be absolutely ridiculous. But you hear it all the time by agents doing 3 deals a year. Like, oh, I'm just so busy. I don't have the time for that. Like, whatever. Yes, you do. Yes, you do. And you have to do it or you will fail. There's no like, oh, well, you can maybe get by. You're going to fail if you do not lead generate on a consistent basis. Also, staying on kind of lead generation, prospecting, and this is kind of like this is a little bit like about the marketing side of things, but I think it is paramount that we have a system in our business that allows us to remarket back to our database. So as you're lead generating along the way, you need to have a system in place where your database does not ever forget who you are. So for me, I do a weekly email newsletter. It's 52 touch points a year. I got about 400 people in my database. I am not calling all of them because I'm out, generating new business and stuff. Not everybody in my database gets a phone call, but they do get the weekly email. And whether I have 4 people or 4 million people, it takes me the same amount of time every week to do. It's massively scalable. If you're not a fan of that, you can do direct mail campaigns, but it costs a lot of money. You can even do text blast if that's your thing, but it costs a lot more money than doing the weekly email. You can even use like a Facebook page, right? So everyone in your database gets added to the Facebook page and you stay top of mind there. I personally am of the belief that the email has the best organic reach and is the best bang for your buck. But you have to have that in place. Make no mistake about it. That's one of your vitals of your business. So even if you're brand new, before you even hit the phone, figure out what that system is and get that in place, and then start building your database and adding them to that system. So I add them to my weekly email list. Every time they go, a new contact gets added to the database, they get added to my email list. So this next one's a big deal too, and that's just providing outstanding service. I think this gets said a lot, like being valuable and being providing value and providing excellent service and blah blah blah. We all know like the Ritz-Carlton versus the Motel 6 experience. Like the Ritz-Carlton charges a premium price, provides a premium service, and the Motel 6 charges a very cheap price and provides a very cheap service. Like their price to value ratios are the same, even though they're drastically different business models. But as realtors, we want to charge whatever our commission rate is. And we're like, let's say it's 6% as an example. Yeah, I charge 6%, but a realtor down the street charges 6% too. And you're McDonald's and they are a 5-star restaurant. And it's like, yeah, dude, that doesn't make any sense. Like if you're going to be McDonald's, charge a McDonald's price, charge a Motel 6 price. I'm going on a tangent here about that. But my main point is if you're going to charge a premium, provide a premium service. And when you start getting clients, if you provide them with an outstanding service, you end up building over time a raving fan club. So your raving fan club starts sending you referrals. That's your past clients, database, center of influence. Start sending you these referrals. And that's kind of how your business ends up maintaining year over year. So if you do, the larger your database gets, it will support a certain amount of transactions each year, as long as you stay top of mind with everybody. So once you get your database to a certain level, you can stop prospecting and your database will support a certain amount of deals each year. But if you provide the worst service anyone's ever seen, you will get either no referrals or far less referrals over time. So providing outstanding service is a big deal. Going the extra mile can really pay dividends for you. And communicating regularly is part of the outstanding service. I don't know how many expired listings I've signed where the biggest complaint was like, yeah, he took our listing 6 months ago and like we never heard from him again. And then I present to that. That's part of my value proposition is like, you will hear from me. Like, I promise. And if you don't hear from me in 2 weeks, we can cancel this thing. because that's me lying to you on this listing appointment. So anyways, providing outstanding service is, again, paramount. Once you have all those things in place, so you are banging the phones, you're leveraging social media, once you get clients, you start providing outstanding service, and you begin, you have your mindset and preparation in place, your business will start to take off, inevitably. Now listen, it may take a few months. It may take 3, may take 6 months, may take 9 months before those seeds you plant really start to, bloom. But it will happen. And then from there, you just scale. So you go all in, you stack time on top of your lead generation. You go all in on social media. You continue to leverage social media rather. And then you can start to scale. So, and oftentimes, especially early on in your career, if you're building from zero, like you can pretty much scale just doing the same shit that, like whatever got you to the dance, whatever got you to this level will also get you to whatever the 5, 10, 15 year goal is if you keep doing it. In a lot of cases, there will be a certain point where you have to leverage out to a new opportunity to get to whatever the next level of growth is. But you can leverage to 100 deals a year doing what we've talked about.